first season that rugby returned to Fresno State after 70 years, and the football club had a great year, finishing 15-1. Even more important, the club helped bring men and women's rugby back to the Valley. Joining us now are board members and player Ahmad Baram, and another player, we've got John Richardson here on this Friday afternoon. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show. It's good to see you.
Glad to be there. Thanks.
All right, let's talk about the Fresno Rugby Club. Has it really only been around for a year, Ahmad?
Well, no, the club has been around 39 years,
okay.
But Fresno State Rugby finished its first year, so that was growing. There's going to be a women's club at Fresno State next year, and we also were able to this year assist in forming the first ever high school clubs in the Valley over at Bullard and the Clovis School. So it was a great year for rugby just in general, but Fresno Rugby was kind of the catalyst behind a lot of those.
So if it's been around for 39 years, why just now are we starting to see this sport become popular, not only in Fresno State, but also in the high school level?
Well, I think that, you know, for me, this was my first season, and I knew about rugby a long time, but didn't really know the prominence of Fresno's club. And I think that the World Cup happening this year, that brings back the international competition, and the World Cup of Rugby next year in New Zealand. And so I think that it brings a lot of interest to international sports, and rugby is, you know, one of the most popular sports in the world.
Now, tell me the difference between rugby football and regular football, or the difference between it and maybe soccer, per se.
I would say that rugby is almost a combination of both. Football derived out of rugby, so rugby was the original. And then soccer has some similarities in that you're playing on a soccer-sized field. Think of soccer where you have that fluidity where you're constantly going, the game does not stop. You're playing similar type of guys on that field, and the football comparison is that you do have a ball that's similar to the football. We can't pass forward, but you have lateral passes, backward passes, a lot of the running. So we sometimes sum it up to people that rugby's kind of like football without pads on a soccer-sized field.
Oh, wow. That sounds dangerous, no?
Yeah, it's a tad dangerous. We've had some injuries here in the past, but it's a great sport. We're having a great time.
How long have you all been playing?
I've been playing 2 full years. This will be going into my 3rd, and John just finished his rookie year.
Oh, that's great. And then you've got these great players from where now? Is it Australia?
No, we've had players again from New Zealand. We had 3 players come back. 3 players come join us this year from New Zealand. One played with us last year, loved Fresno and playing for the club and being in Fresno so much that they came back a 2nd year. So we've been having regular over the years some Kiwis, as we call them, coming back.
Kiwis, I like that. I hear you guys are pretty good.
Well, we were 15-1. Yeah,
just
you
a
know.
tad good.
We were 15-1 and #1 in NorCal, and went 13-0 throughout the regular season, and pretty much dominated California.
Yeah.
So we had a great time.
And what does it feel like to bring this sport to Fresno State, not just for the men, but for the women as well, and high school? That's really quite an accomplishment for the club, isn't it?
It is, and I think as far as bringing the sport to people, rugby is more than just a game that you play on a field. It really is a sport that has a lot of social aspects. You know, you hang out with each other, you guys travel together, so there's that camaraderie that comes with rugby all over the world.
These are pictures of you guys having some fun, right?
Like that's an example. For like after all of our games, we'll dress up and do a theme, you know, for the party.
That's a G.I. Joe party?
That's our G.I. Joe party. We went to Chico. We dressed like hippies. We went to San Jose State, and they had that perception that everyone in the Valley is farmers. So we did a Farmer's John thing. We all wore overalls and things like that. So we have a lot of fun with it, and bringing that to like the next generation, whether it's the Fresno State teams or the high school clubs. I think it's just really fun, and it also helps us because in the future you have that sustainability of the club by having new players wanting to come in and join that.
Well, I know that are you recruiting new players? That's my first question. Okay. Oh, good. You're always taking players, and you're kind of a nonprofit because you fund yourselves, and that's why this upcoming poker tournament is so important because it's a huge fundraiser for you guys, right?
It's a huge fundraiser for us. We are an actual nonprofit. We got our nonprofit status a year ago. The poker tournament is coming up next Saturday night at Club One Casino.
Oh, that'll be fun.
It's going to be a real fun time.
What are you guys going to dress up as?
I actually don't think we're doing things for that. We don't want to scare people away. But for the poker tournament, it is a big one because we use that money not just to fund our club to cover our costs, our playing costs, our referees, travel, but we also use it to help out with some of the other local clubs developing the high school, the college clubs, purchasing equipment, and then even like this year when we had the Kiwis and things like that, we bring them in, and then they actually serve almost like consultants because they work with all the clubs as well and coaching.
That's great.
So
and you play all year long, right, John? All
We're
year
out
long,
there
pretty
Year
much?
round
Okay.
right now. We're just
Got it.
kind of running touch at Buchanan, 6:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and getting ready for the season. They'll probably start tackling and all that, and later on in the fall.
Sounds good. Okay, so either go to the casino night, go to Buchanan Tuesdays or Thursdays at 6:30.
That's right.
Or give them a call. You have plenty of options to be part of the rugby and help support rugby here in the Valley. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having us on.
Good luck.
You bet.
Congratulations on being so good. Still to come on Central Valley today, we are speaking to some of the comedians who've made it to the finals of the Central Valley's first comedy competition. There they are. Do they have what it takes? You be the judge when we come back.